Good evening. Calling to order the September 17th meeting of the Town of Los Gatos Joint Town Council, Parking Authority, and Successor Agency meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, good evening. Councilmember Steve Leonardis.
Here.
Councilmember Diane McNutt.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Przynski.
Here.
Vice Mayor Barbara Spector.
Here.
Mayor Steve Rice.
I am here. Our tradition in these chambers is to have a future leader lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we have Coco White, a fifth grader at Van Meter Elementary School. I never forget to mention that's my alma mater, too. And we just cut the ribbon, or the school cut the ribbon on their new classroom last week, new classroom building. Coco last year was on the student council. She has helped establish and run the green team at Van Meter to educate students on how to become green both at home and at school. And she's continuing on the green team this year. She likes to play soccer, has been a member of the YMCA Adventure Guides for the past 5 years. She loves animals and most of all, her golden retriever, Shiner. Coco, come on up here and lead us in the pledge. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Give Coco a big hand.
Just say whatever.
One more time, let's thank Coco for... All right. Madam Deputy Town Attorney, would you give us a closed session report, please?
Thank you and good evening. Council met in closed session as noticed on the agenda, and council took no reportable action.
Thank you. Next is council and manager reports. Any reports from council members? Seeing none, Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, only 2 items to report before Did You Know. First, as a follow-up to your last council meeting, staff followed up on your direction to talk to the leadership of both the Friends of the Library and the Museums of Los Gatos, and the leadership of both organizations have reaffirmed their commitment to work with the town and each other in partnership to use the old library space for the betterment of the community within the context of within the framework that you were presented 2 weeks ago. So we're full speed ahead working with both the Friends and the museum on strengthening that relationship and creating new cultural and literary opportunities for our community. Second item, before your next meeting is the Screen on the Green, which this year is happening on Friday, September 28th, starting with children's activities at 6:30 p.m. in Oak Meadow Park. Again, that's Friday the 28th. And then at 7:25, the mayor will be teeing up the Lorax as this year's Screen on the Green showing for the community of Los Gatos. Hope to see you there, Coco. So, Did You Know will be presented tonight by Deputy Clerk Heather St. John, and it is on boards and commissions. Heather?
Good evening. It's a pleasure to come before you this morning to talk about our upcoming recruitment for town's boards, committees, and commissions. We are looking for volunteers who are willing to serve on town advisory bodies, all while making a tremendous impact on our community. You will see on the screen before you a list of commissions and committees with openings and dates to keep in mind. Thank you. Would be October 8th is when we will have our application deadline, and October 22nd, interviews will take place at 6 p.m. Please contact the clerk department for more information and/or an application, and we look forward to working with you to continually enrich the town of Los Gatos.
Thank you, Heather. Next is the consent agenda. I'll first call your attention to the fact that we do have a desk item for agenda item number 2. Does any council member wish to pull a consent item? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion. Councilmember Leonardis.
Move to approve the consent items inclusive of the desk item.
Second.
I'll let the deputy clerk decide who actually seconded, whether it was the vice mayor or Councilmember Brzezinski. Sounded like stereo to me. Any those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next is verbal communications. This is a time for anybody in the audience who wishes to speak on any item not on this evening's agenda. May fill out a card and speak for up to 3 minutes on that item of their choice. I don't have any cards, but is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? You do wish to?
I would, just two seconds.
Come on forward.
I'm John Agg, Executive Director for the Museums of Los Gatos, and I just wanted to reaffirm what the town manager has just stated, that it is very clear and has been clear, and if there was a misunderstanding earlier, that we have clarified that we want to move forward aggressively as a partner with the Friends of the Library.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Agg? Seeing none, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on an item not on this evening's agenda? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the verbal. Did you want to speak on? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Town Council, my name is David Stonecipher, and I would just like to take one moment to remember a very important person who's a resident of Los Gatos and an enormous contributor to the arts and culture of the whole of Santa Clara Valley, who passed away a week ago, and his services were held this afternoon at St. Joseph's Cathedral in San Jose. Thank you.
Did you want to refer to who? I know who, but did you want to?
This is ridiculous. Mr. Lee Weimers, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the verbal communications and move on to other business. Agenda item 5. Again, council, I'll draw your attention to a desk item that we have for this item. Staff report by Town Manager Greg Larson.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we have a detailed staff report from the Arts and Cultural Commission that was in your packet. Just by way of background, you may recall that the Music in the Park program that used to be managed by the then Arts Commission was transferred to Los Gatos Music and Arts, an independent nonprofit. And then the town, working with the Arts Commission, led a strategic planning exercise for the Arts Commission that led to the Arts Commission becoming the Arts and Cultural Commission and presenting to the council in December 2010 a new arts plan that included 4 components, of which there were also 4 public art projects. 4 of those projects, or 2 of the public art projects, have moved ahead: the Forbes Mill footbridge and the banner program. The Forbes Mill will be implemented in its first phase this October and November, and the banner project, the commission is now recommending be put on hold pending council review and approval of another project. We've given you a detailed update on all 4 areas of the Art and Cultural Commission's work plan, including public art, their long-term mission, their funding efforts, where they were originally given $9,800 reallocated from the former Downtown Gateway project, which will be fully expended for the initial Forbes Mill art panels, as well as what you'll hear shortly are the proposed CATS art program for downtown. And they're also developing a variety of communication programs. The real issues we wanted to bring for you tonight is we do have a pageant grounds project that included identification of a location for sculpture or other outdoor art. That was represented in the graphic that was circulated to you today as a desk item. As of now, the Arts Commission is not pursuing that as a priority for their work in accordance with the public art policy. So the council has a number of options. One, they can direct staff and the Arts and Cultural Commission to identify alternative locations for public art in the pageant grounds that would subsequently be reviewed by the council. They can direct staff to proceed with the pageant grounds public art project independent of the Arts and Cultural Commission, given their other work, or they could suspend any further work on the pageant grounds public art project until we hear back from a group of volunteers about a potential veterans memorial that might encompass some portion of the park. I would highlight on the plans you were given in your desk item that we are proceeding and have actually executed a contract for the improvements of pageant grounds. So all the landscaping and seating and all of that has already been contracted for. So I know the Arts Commission was considering the notion of moving the planter in the lower right surrounded by seating to the left and putting the art project on the right. That would require a significant expense by the town and a delay to the pageant grounds project, while looking at alternative locations for art in the pageant grounds where there isn't currently landscaping planned or installed. One area that jumps out would be in the top right corner of the accessible pathway. There's an open space area there that would be prominent and might be conducive to public art, as well as possibly in the lawn itself. We have lawn in the front of the Civic Center. So there are other locations to look at for art there that doesn't require jettisoning the plans that the council has already approved. And if you wanted us to pursue alternative one, we would limit our focus there. However, I do know the veterans may be interested in that corner I mentioned off the to the right of the accessible trail as a possible art location as well. So that is the pageant grounds, and I'd like to turn it over to the chair of the Arts Commission to present the catwalk proposal. George?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, people. I'm George Havelka, current chair of the Arts and Culture Commission. Over the years, with participation of many commission members, the town's Arts and Culture Commission has brought forward ideas that have enriched Los Gatos. The very successful Music in the Park series began in this commission and draws thousands to our downtown commercial hub each summer. More recently, the commission has developed a plan to revitalize the artwork on Forbes Mill Bridge, a plan that will engage the youth in our town, showcase the best of their works, rotate the artwork each year, and keep the experience of viewing the art fresh and new. We're still working on new ideas. There's lots going on inside the commission, but one idea I want to share with you tonight needs the council's approval and a bit of funding in order to move forward. Months ago, previous commission chair Colleen Wilcox came to us all excited about koala bears. She noticed an installation of koala bears in the eucalyptus trees, which are in the median of San Carlos Street, right at the entrance to San Jose State. The meeting took an exciting turn with much discussion about cats, cats on buildings, cats in flower boxes, cats on rooftops. Then Commissioner Tom Spilsbury said, catwalk. And catwalk it was, and away we went. Now, months later, a commission subcommittee has worked through a full range of ideas and issues and brought their proposal to the full commission for approval. We approved what they brought forward and now bring it to you for approval so that we can move forward. In the years to come, we believe we'll have a well-developed catwalk that people all over will know about and come to Los Gatos to see. Brochures will be developed pointing out the cats, locations, the artists involved, some history about Los Gatos and connections to other town events and attractions, like the Art Museum, Jazz in the Plaz, C.B. Hannigan's, paid advertising. There could be a cat parade, prizes for cat costumes, building owners and business owners participating with cats here and there, sponsorships, kids' involvement, and many other events yet to be planned will entice the region to come here to Los Gatos. But here and now, we want to start with a pilot of 10 to 12 cats placed in trees on Santa Cruz Avenue between Main Street and Bachman Avenue The cats are to be up to 24 inches long, weigh less than 10 pounds, made from materials that will last at least 10 years. After the first year, the commission, working with staff, will do an assessment of multiple things: the attachments, colors, sizes, designs, poses, and the like, and report back to council. Arts and Culture Commission member David Nasler is an experienced sculptor who has had public commissions and is available to assist in installation and assessment. We've worked also with Todd Capurso on the bridge and on how we might install the cats on the trees. The Arts and Culture Commission is extremely excited about this new project and hopeful that you can see its potential. We ask that monies previously reserved for the banner project, approximately $9,000, be reserved to encourage artists to participate. So please give us the go-ahead so that with cooperation from staff, we can move forward on this project.
Any questions? Vice Mayor.
Thank you. While George is up there, I'm going to go to Mr. Larson, if I might. Does staff have any concerns that that we can raise now so that we can address them to Mr. Havelka?
Ms. Vice Mayor and members of the council, the issues for consideration that staff had were raised in the report. We do want to continue working closely with the commission and ultimately with whatever artists are selected to deal with maintenance, location, attachment issues, liability, and the like. San Jose tackled that problem using an independent nonprofit. It was the Downtown Improvement Association. That was actually the contracting entity, but we think we can find vehicles and mechanisms to make it work here if that's the council's desire.
Thank you.
Okay.
No questions.
Councilmember McNutt.
Thank you, Mayor. Then I'll ask a couple of questions. Could you put the visual back up that shows the tree more in the median so you get a better perspective of, yeah. So a couple things I was just curious how you're going to address. Eucalyptus trees have a really nice naked trunk, and so the arch shows up, and it's quite tall. Our trees aren't like that. They're lower, they have a lot of leaves. So how are you confident that you're going to be able to position them so that they're visible in all four seasons? Question number one. And number two, because our trees are so much shorter in terms of theft or vandalism.
Well, we talked about both of those things, both with staff and with Todd, and we thought that in the neck of the tree, where the branches come together would be an optimum place to put them because they can be attached pretty well there. Cats by nature are also kind of hidden, and we don't mind that a little bit, and that you have to kind of go look for them, and that's part of the thing here, I think, is to make it something that you'll have to find, or you'll be surprised to encounter as you go around. And what was the other part of that?
Theft. Vandalism.
Well, that's what the one-year pilot is about, is let's get it up there and take a look and see just exactly how it works over this first year. And I think that'll tell us a big story about a lot of things, the size, exactly where they are, how rigid and permanent the attachment mechanism has to be. And that's what the review is after a year, and then we can move forward from there.
It's sad that we have to think about those things, but the cooler it is, the higher the risk that someone's going to say, oh, this is really cool. It looked really good in my backyard. So I just worried.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Havelka. Sure.
Commissioner McNutt, yeah, your concerns are very good, very, very good. But the last one particularly, where something looks cool in the backyard, the amount of vandalism that happens along Santa Cruz Avenue for the over 30 years that I had a retail business there was not for people to steal things for their own use. It was entirely just vandalism. And these cats are, of course, very vulnerable to that, but that goes with whatever we do downtown. And there are, insurance concerns, there's all kinds of things that have come up on this, but we, the commissioners, really believe that this thing is viable and will be attractive and an artistic asset to downtown. And we want to just go for it. Let's run the risk. You see planter boxes overturned all the time downtown, but you rarely see a theft for somebody to take it home for their own use. So let's just go for it.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Again, I don't know who this might be for. I don't know who the question is for. It might be staff. You're talking about using the monies from the banners, the $9,000 that wasn't spent on the banner program. Do you anticipate that that money will be used in the first year, and then what would be used after that? Or is this something we'll just have to do the pilot program and wait and see?
It's a little bit of both. It's let's do the pilot project. You'll be amazed at the increase in revenue and the draw to downtown for sales tax revenue. And I think that we'll get a lot of participation from building owners and businesses if we can demonstrate this pilot. And then the question will be then I think we can involve more of the community in this and perhaps do it without further town funding, perhaps not. We'll just have to see. I think it's going to cause a lot of questions around town, building owners and businesses both. How do we participate with this? What can we do to add to this?
And if I might add, Mr. Mayor, the council previously approved a transfer of the $9,800 that was for the long-awaited Gateway project to go to public art as part of the Arts and Culture Commission work plan. $4,500 of those dollars are being used for the footbridge panels, and as indicated in the staff report, that leaves $5,300 for the catwalk.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hubbuck. Mr. Brzezinski.
Don't step down just yet. Just a point of clarification on our process. We're looking at this CATS proposal. Are we also going to deal with the issue of the pageant grounds
Yes,
artwork
we're
at this
going to
time?
deal with them.
Could I ask then the chair, if you wouldn't mind commenting on the issues that that the committee has raised regarding the sighting up on pageant ground?
Were you on that committee? Sure, yes. Yeah, I think David might be better. We had a couple of subcommittees deal with these various issues. I think David might be better prepared on that one.
Well, I don't know how much better prepared, but I'll give it a shot. Council members, we, as an Arts Commission, visited the pageant grounds and visited the site for the sculpture and deemed that it was not a suitable site for a major expense for any kind of a sculpture. And one suggestion was, of course, I think you heard this earlier tonight, to move it, but it was too late to do that because of the sprinkler systems, was already done, complete. So our recommendation was just to pull out of the whole thing and save that money and possibly transfer it over to a more visible space, possibly right in front of the new library. There's a wonderful planter box filled with one tree, lots of grass, and a few rocks right at the entrance to the library, which is adjacent to Pageant Park, which would hold a sculpture beautifully. We don't know whether the overlap of that not being exactly in Pageant Park grounds would enable those funds to be transferred to there, but bottom line was the committee felt that to put a sculpture where it's planned without increasing more expense on the landscaping plan was really just a waste of time and money. Thank you.
All right, if I could then, Mr. Stonecipher, that alternative site that the manager talked to, has the committee taken a look at that site, or is this strictly from staff? The alternative site was, as I'm looking at the graphic we've got, I assume you're talking about the area immediately west of the path.
And if I could ask the deputy clerk to put the graphic, pageant grounds graphic in the desk item on the Elmo, that would be helpful so we can bring everybody to the same spot. So the current location is as noted on the bottom, pointing up just to the left of the bicycling path, right in the middle of the glare.
Right, now, that's the location that we
That's the
deem not
current
suitable.
location. As I've assumed staffing responsibility for the Arts Commission with other staff leaving, looking at this graphic, the one other area we thought might be possible is on the far right. Here's a laser pointer. I can try not to blind anyone. So right over
But it's my understanding that the far right one is the one where the landscaping is all planned, and so it's too late.
There's landscaping throughout. We believe there may be a little hole over here that might be worthy of exploration, or the other notion is just to put a sculptural piece in the pageant grounds. As the council well knows, we are doing a significant upgrade to pageant grounds, both because it's our most historic park and to increase its viability and usability in the community. That's why an art location was originally assumed for the pageant grounds. Where it is in the grounds is in the current plans have been approved there. That could certainly be revisited. Staff would not recommend relocating all of these items because that's a significant expense and is the heart really of the project to date. I should also note that the council will have coming back to them later the possibility of a bridge connection to the Civic Center deck that will again increase accessibility and visibility of pageant grounds.
All right, so it's apparent that
May I speak to that, please?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to speak for the commission. Hopefully, they're all behind all this. We have had a lot of discussion as it is. We have a budget to put a piece of sculpture in Pageant Park, and the Arts Commission feels that where it's projected to go is not a good spot. So we do not want to just run around and willy-nilly pick a new spot just to buy a piece of sculpture. So we are recommending that we just back off that whole space and be a little more productive on where a major piece of sculpture could go. That's where we're coming from.
Fine. And my feeling is this. First of all, we're not going to change the construction.
No, and we're agreeing to that.
But neither are we going to design from the dais tonight. So
we're agreeing to
the issue
that,
is this.
Joe. We're just
I mean, there is no question. We're not going to design from the dais. So my recommendation is that we send this back with the commission to the manager and have an opportunity to take a look at whatever alternatives there might be, including the indicated space in front of the library. Okay. So that would be my recommendation when we get to decisions as of tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
It was my understanding that in the budget, this money was already allocated, and either it's going to be spent on in other words, it can't be reallocated to some other thing. Is that right?
The pageant grounds budget has a set aside that is unspent and uncommitted of approximately $20,000 that we believe will be available for arts in the pageant grounds. The council could obviously redirect that, subject to any conditions on the funds. It will also be an issue coming back to you when you look at possible funding for improved access to pageant grounds. We're just trying to get those next phases all costed out so we can bring an actual number back to you.
Great, thank you.
But right now, we're using $20,000 as the set aside.
Okay, any other questions for the, okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and look to council. We've got two primary issues before us. One is the pageant grounds, and the other is the catwalk. Let's deal with pageant grounds first, since that's where we are. Vice Mayor.
I guess I'll just do a motion or...
Go right ahead.
I'm going to move that we do not modify our current plans for pageant grounds and move forward with them and entertain, let's just start with that one, and then I'll go on to the next part of it. That'll be the first component of my motion.
Okay, motion to continue the plan as it has already been approved.
Correct.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember McNutt.
Just a clarification, when you say continue with the plan, are you talking about the plan, not just the landscaping plan, but the plan to purchase a piece of public art and put it in that location?
Actually, that's what I was going to add on to my motion, but I'll do it now. No, it would not include a mandate for the public art as depicted in attachment 2.
So the motion is just to keep the landscaping plan the way it is?
Correct.
Without the,
Without a mandate for the public art where it is located.
It's acceptable to the seconder.
okay. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Vice Mayor.
Try the next one. I'll move that the Arts Commission, through staff, report back to us on other locations in the pageant library area for the placement of a piece of public art.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Also carries unanimously. Right. We're done with pageant grounds. We'll move on to catwalk. Councilmember Brzezinski.
I'm going to move that we move forward with the recommendation of the Arts Commission regarding the pilot program for the catwalk, as so described, and noting that there are issues that still need to be addressed with staff and the commission, but those can be worked out as this project goes forward. But I think this is something that we should approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. That is the last agenda item we have for this evening. Students, you picked a great night to come here. Yeah, last time wasn't so good.
But we will be doing a dramatic reading of the town code for you all.
We are adjourned.